Every time he kills someone, we'll call the police in advance. Hello, police officer. Let you know. I'm going to kill someone. After saying that, he pulled out the battery and phone thrown into the river separately. It turned out that he was 20 years ago the only survivor of the massacre. Now he has been studying perfect crime for 18 years. Finally began his first revenge. You guys ready? The hunting game begins. As the man turned away, the three major pieces in the water also slowly sink to the bottom of the river. Inside the office of the criminal police captain, there's a recording of a phone call playing. To inform you that I am about to start killing people. This gentleman, please don't joke. I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you. And this is no joke. It's a preview of murder. The person I want to kill is Zhao Hua, the 46-year-old ancestor of Jianhua Real Estate. I suggest you send the police as soon as possible to protect him. The reason why I told you in advance. I just want to be under your protection. Kill him. Oh yeah, you can call me Ghost. Ha 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 ha. Lu Guodong, after listening to the recording, his face turned gloomy in an instant. Opposite Wang Tao. At this time, he looked relaxed. Captain, I don't believe someone can be stupid enough to come up with a murder preview. What era is it now? Everywhere surveillance and superb criminal investigation techniques. If he really wants to kill, I can't wait to hide it from the world. How could he tell us his plan? Hearing this, Lu Guodong immediately fell into deep thought. After all, if you don't care, if something goes wrong, the consequences will be severe. I'm afraid it's a farce. After thinking for a moment, Lu Guodong looked up at Wang Tao with a serious face. So far, we still have to do something. First, send someone to find this Zhao Hua. Ask him about the investigation. Then inform the comrades in the technical department. Find the source. Also, let Zhao Zhang stare at the phone all the time. If the other party calls again, come directly to my office. I'm on it. Looking at the back of Wang Tao's departure, Lu Guodong suddenly had a bad premonition. I always feel like something big is about to happen. However, 2 hours later, Wang Tao's reappearance. But it directly confirmed his idea. Tell me how the investigation is going. Our people on Zhao Hua's side are already in place. So far, nothing's happened. Hearing this, Lu Guodong finally breathed a sigh of relief. After all, as the police captain of Tomato, he doesn't want to be played by a criminal. As long as people are fine. And the technical department has also checked. The caller number is an anonymous empty number. But they traced the source of the signal. It's in Shenying town, 80 kilometers away. According to the same time over there, found a 90s Nokia in the river. The point is that there's a red number on the phone. After listening to Wang Tao's report, Lu Guodong's expression began to gradually become serious. For such a mysterious case, he didn't even have a clue. Just then, the police officer hurriedly broke into the office. Captain, that guy called again. As Zhang Min's voice fell, the office phone also rang. And Lu Guodong, he also picked up the phone without hesitation. Who are you and what do you want to do? Before asking anyone else, shouldn't you introduce yourself? I am Lu Guodong, captain of the criminal police force. I don't care who you are. Please stop your crazy behavior immediately. Why can't you police just talk well? Well, never mind. Limited time. I'll cut this short. 3 days. I will give you 3 days to arrange. In 3 days, I will kill Zhao Hua. It's a fair game. Captain Lu, guess who didn't want it in the end? Ha 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 ha. With the do hand coming from the phone, Lu Guodong's face gradually darkened. He doesn't understand. Why did the other party act before? Inform the police of your target. I can't figure out who this man will be. The time soon came to the next day. In the classroom of Shihong No. 1 Middle School, the gentle young teacher is giving a lecture to the students. Who knows anything about math? What was it called in ancient times? I know that math in the old days was called arithmetic. And the reason why it is called arithmetic becomes heavy in an arithmetic. There was a saying back then, when computing research is at its peak, can calculate all things in the world. It means, when one takes the subject of mathematics research to the extreme, then this person can understand everything in the world. Almost omniscient, omnipotent. And do you believe that? As soon as this sentence comes out, the students in the audience all started shaking their heads. After all, mathematics is just one of their most important subjects. See this situation. The man then changed the style again. Can you measure the world? So if someone is good enough at math, what do you think? Can he predict the future in a short time? I think so. Tell me your reason. Like a math problem. If the idea is correct, just make sure each step is correct. Then the final result must also be positive. Exactly the same. If you count every development node of a thing is dead, then things will end up as expected. As expected. This should be a prediction of the future. Theoretically, yes. But there was a catch. That is, there can be no distractions. Otherwise, the result will be uncontrollable. Hear the debate between the two. The man on the stage nodded slightly. Zhang Gang is right. However, are these distractions also part of the calculation? Man's deep eyes immediately made the students in the audience feel a little scared. And the other side, the meeting room of the City Bureau Criminal Police talking to the players, described the course of the murder notice case and the results of the investigation. Yesterday, a man calling himself a ghost called, claiming to kill Zhao Hua, the boss of Jianhua Real Estate. After receiving the call, Comrade Zhang Min, report this to me and Team Lu as soon as possible. Then Captain Lu immediately gave instructions. However, just as we were starting to investigate, this person called proclaimed again to kill 3 days later. Let's get ready. According to the current investigation, basically, you can tell that this is not a prank. We are facing possibly a very clever fanatic. So let's start with this. The 2 calls from the other party were anonymous numbers. No information to check. And both numbers are one-time consumables. Secondly, both numbers are sourced from remote areas. There is not much location monitoring. There is no way to identify this person through surveillance. As mentioned above, you can tell that this guy is careful. And it seems that the criminal investigation technology also have a certain understanding. No, since this guy is careful, Then how could he come up with a preview of killing? Isn't it good to sneak away the target? This is really abnormal. And not only that, there's more to the anomaly of the whole thing than that. But now is not the time to discuss this. The top priority is to ensure Xiaohua's safety. As long as Xiaohua doesn't die, everything is easy to say. But once someone dies, one of you is one. All can't eat and walk around. As soon as this sentence comes out, everyone's eyes just opened wide. Looking at Lu Guodong, only then did they realize the significance of the case. And one of the police officers suddenly lit up. I think why don't you invite the Xiaohua to us? Come on team, is it just 3 days? As long as others are at the police station, no matter how powerful that ghost is, it's impossible to succeed. No, if you really get Xiaohua to the police force, the man named Ghost, I really can't find any opportunity to start. But 3 days later, are we going to protect him for the rest of his life? Besides, we also asked Xiaohua. He himself did not agree, and he agrees with me. That is to wait at home for the ghost to come to the door, so that the crisis can be completely resolved. After all, there is no 1,000 days to prevent voice falls, etc. Everyone nodded. At this point, everyone finally understood that whether they want to or not, we must attack this now. Prevent the game from being passed on. So in the next 3 days, except we can't let Xiaohua see any outsiders about the pace near Xiaohua's house. I think it needs to be strengthened. Food verification should also be paid attention to. I think the possibility of the ghost using poison is not small. Then everyone began to discuss how to protect Xiaohua. Discussed. And almost all of you here are old detectives. They believe that under such close protection, it's as hard as a ghost to kill. The time soon came to the next day. Xiaohua in the living room of the villa was calm. After all, people who can reach this position. I have also experienced many storms and waves. At this time, Wang Tao's expression but gradually became serious. You also understand the situation of Mr. Zhao. And the last day and a half. Please be sure to cooperate with us. So it's natural, but it's troublesome for Officer Wang. And thank you to the police force for me. Thank you for your hard work these days. That's not the end of the job. Officer Na Wang, I don't know about you. Did you find out who was trying to hurt me? Not yet. But have you ever thought about it yourself? Who exactly wants to? Are you dead? It's full of police real officers, estate company owners like me. There are naturally many people who have offended along the way. I wish I died more than I can count. But it's really going to hurt me. I still can't think of anyone who would do that. So recently, is there anything special happening around you? Or does someone strange appear? No, everything was normal. How about you? Do you have any enemies? I am a full-time housewife. In addition to sending children to school, basically don't go out much. I will not have a grudge against others. After hearing this, Wang Tao frowned in disappointment. The two men failed to provide any useful information. Instantly lost interest in talking. However, just as the atmosphere at the scene fell silent, Xiaohua suddenly opened his mouth to Officer Wang. Do you think that person will really come? You have so many police forces inside and out. Did it scare him off? This has been discussed by our team. Everyone agreed that the guy should not come. If he really wants to kill you, just sneak and kill you. Why did you inform us in advance? So I think the reason why the guy did it. There must be another purpose. Just for this purpose, we don't know yet. But even so, we still can't let our guard down. What if that guy is so tough? It's really here, so let's wait and see, at least after tomorrow night. After saying that, Wang Tao got up and walked out of the living room. And Xiaohua and Li Na are also going upstairs to sleep. At the same time, in a dark room, the man took out a piece of paper. I saw 99 names densely written on it. And this list, it is also the 99 murderers who participated in the killing 20 years ago. As the only one who survived, now he has finally embarked on his revenge plan. Sorry. I still can't be indifferent after all. I let you down. Have you decided? It's not too late to change your mind. It's too late. The first revenge has begun. That person will die tomorrow night. Don't be cautious. Don't leave any flaws. I see. I will make the best of what you taught me. Go ahead and do what you have to do. From now on, we are righteous. Never contact. Teacher, take care. Time soon came to the last day of the 3-day covenant. Shadowless walking on the road to school. I can't help but raise the corner of my mouth slightly. This scene happened to be seen by his friend Wang Jun. Are you in a good mood today? What? Is there anything good? Tomorrow is the weekend. Do you think it's a good thing? That's right, tomorrow is the holiday. By the way, I just wanted to ask if you have any plans for the evening? No. Why? I heard that there is a new barbecue restaurant in Shangling District. Good. Do you want to try it? Is there a girl? No, I said Shadowless, and I was confused. Ugly guy like me. It's normal to have no female friends. You said you grew up like you. Is it unreasonable to have no girl around? Don't talk nonsense, just say whether to go or not. Your treat, of course. There are cheap and don't take advantage of the bastard. After saying that, Wang Jun turned around and excitedly looking at the back of Wang Jun's departure. Wu Ying's eyes are fierce at this moment. Time soon came to night. 2 people at a barbecue on the street. I'm drinking wine at a table full of delicacies. At this moment, Wu Ying took out her phone and sent a message. And Lu Guodong on the other side saw that it was almost 12 o'clock. Preparing to give. Wang Tao, who was protecting Xiaohua in the villa, suddenly called. I received a text message. After seeing the 3 words above clearly, Lu Guodong immediately dialed Wang Tao's number. Hurry up and see if Xiaohua is okay. Shortly after, footsteps rang on the phone, and when the footsteps stopped, then came the cry of a woman. Xiaohua, don't scare me. Wake up. Wake up. Every time a woman gets married, will kill their husbands with their own hands. But this man doesn't believe in evil. That night, I decided to try my best. But 2 hours later, the woman's cries came from the room. Husband, don't laugh, wake up. Wake up to the woman's voice. Several police officers downstairs also rushed up quickly. It turned out to be just 3 days ago. The police department received a strange phone call. End your life. After 3,000, I will kill Zhao Hua. The time will soon come to the next day. The atmosphere in the criminal police has been suppressed to the extreme. Everyone was up all night for Zhao Hua's death last night, and the captain Lu Guodong was even more tired. Level requires us to solve the case within a month. This is a dead order. Let's all be mentally prepared. The next period of time, the police force is our home. Lu Guodong's feeble explanation. The queen looked at Wang Tao again with a serious face. Tell me what happened last night. At this time, Wang Tao's face is still ugly. After all, people are killed under their own noses. And as the head of the team protecting Zhao Hua, nature has an inescapable responsibility. The two of them were at 10 o'clock last night. Leave the living room. Enter the bedroom. That's when it started. Zhao Huakai is out of our sight. And for the next 2 hours, whether it is outside the villa or inside everything the villa, is fine. Just at 12 o'clock, I suddenly heard Li Na shouting. When we arrived at the scene, Zhao Hua was already dead. That is to say, Zhao Hua died between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock. That's right, within 2 hours. No one entered their bedroom, including our people. What did the forensic doctor say? The medical examiner's preliminary judgment is sudden. You need to wait until the appraisal results come out. After listening, Lu Guodong nodded displeased. Tao is not dissatisfaction with subordinates. It's about calling. Disappointed that the ghost of words did not appear. After a moment of reflection, Lu Guodong looked at the crowd with anticipation again. Tell me what you think. Is it possible that the murderer jumped in through the window? Absolutely impossible. Not to mention coming in through the window. Even if it falls from the sky, it is impossible. I can tell you clearly, no one broke into the villa last night. Then in case this is the case, don't discuss it. If under our layers of protection, there are still people who can sneak into the villa to commit crimes. Then we don't deserve to wear this police uniform. Since the ghost never came. Then how did he kill Zhao Hua? As the officer's voice fell, the scene quieted down in an instant, and everybody was lost in thought. And a moment later, Captain Lu Guodong was the first to speak. We use exclusion to analyze first. The murderer infiltrated the villa to commit the crime. This possibility can be ruled out secondly. Zhao Hua has no wounds. It wasn't killed by a knife or a gun in the end. Zhao Hua, all the food these days. The river water has been tested by us. So no one was poisoned, maybe not. Poisoning cannot be ruled out. Hearing this, Lu Guodong instantly perked up. The tiredness on his face disappeared immediately. Tell me about it. Since the corpse has no obvious trauma, and the medical examiner's preliminary judgment is sudden death, then there are only two possibilities, or it is indeed a coincidence, suddenly in his sleep, or being poisoned. Which do you think is more likely? As Wang Tao's voice falls, the scene was eerily quiet again. Everyone knows that Zhao Hua could not have really died suddenly. After all, 3 days ago, the murderer has given his murder forecast. Seeing this, Wang Tao began to continue to analyze. The cause of Zhao Hua's death can basically be poisoned to death. But the problem is that the ghost didn't appear last night. So how did he poison it? What if the ghost has always been in the villa? As soon as this sentence comes out, everyone stared at Lu Guodong with wide eyes. They are not questioning Lu Guodong's claims. Shocked by this conjecture. What Lu means to you is, ghosts are people inside our police force. No, I believe there are no criminals in the police force. But don't you forget, there was no one but us in the villa last night. One more person. Wang Tao's eyes lit up when he heard this. Then he looked at Lu Huijie with excitement. Li Na is right. Zhao Hua is dead and he is the biggest beneficiary. So the motivation, there it is. And he had every opportunity to poison Zhao Hua. I see. We were wondering before. Why does the ghost have a murder preview, rather than conspiring to do it? It all makes sense now. It's for the audition. Let's focus all our attention. Put it all on a person who doesn't exist. So maybe ghosts don't exist. Or Li Na is the ghost. The police officer's voice just fell. And everybody was nodding their heads. After all, now in the absence of any other evidence, Li Na is the prime suspect. Soon Li Na was taken to the interrogation room. In the face of the severe attitude of Lu Guodong and Wang Tao, Li Na was so nervous that she was sweating. Tell me why you want to kill Zhao Hua. Hearing this, Li Na instantly widened her eyes. Even his body was trembling slightly. But soon he seemed to have thought of something. Then he looked at Wang Tao calmly. I didn't kill anyone. Police comrade. I don't know what you mean. Obviously the murderer is the person named Ghost. Can't you catch the murderer? Are you going to frame me? As soon as this sentence comes out, Wang Tao is suddenly furious. On the side, Lu Guodong was calm. After all, as the captain of the criminal police, there is still some determination. Li Na, do you think your plan is perfect? We can't take you. Don't be naive. I suggest you be honest, and perhaps leniency. Joe? I don't know what you mean. I'll say it again. I didn't kill anyone. Seeing that Li Na was tight-lipped, Lu Guodong immediately took out a document. This is the actual inspection report. Zhao Hua died of sudden death from an overdose of penicillin. And we're on the water glass in your bedroom. Penicillin residue was extracted. Here's the smoking gun. You can't deny it. As Lu Guodong's voice fell, it was still a little tight just now. Zhang Li Na relaxed in an instant. Then he looked at Lu Guodong with confidence. That's my water glass. I've been sick recently. You need to take medicine before bed. The penicillin residue you mentioned. Maybe that's what was left then. If you don't believe me, you can test again. It definitely doesn't have my husband's fingerprints or DNA on it. Right at Li Na. After expressing his reasons with confidence, Lu Guodong and Wang Tao are even more convinced. Li Na is the murderer of Zhao Hua. After all, he acted too calmly. He was too relaxed in the face of inquiries. But they also realized that it's hard to get Li Na to confess unless you show real evidence. And the other side, shadowless sitting on the sofa after completing the first perfect revenge. But I had a thought that I shouldn't have. Or forget it. Let go of hatred. Start life again. Enjoy this blooming world. However, just as the idea was coming out, there was a great sense of shame. At the same time, the picture from that night 20 years ago in front of him in an instant. Wu Ying's eyes suddenly showed a fierce light. I want revenge. I want to kill all my enemies. As long as the people involved, I won't let any of them go. Finish. Wu Ying got up and started preparing for the next operation. And the second target of revenge. It is Sun Wei from Qingzhong village in the east. The time soon came to the next day. In Lu Guodong's office. Here comes a mysterious young man. This man has a face that never wakes up, and a pair of eyes that seem to see through everything. The children, we are currently working on this case. Talk about it later. Lu is right. This time, I will come down and be immune to the listing. I will supervise your daily work. I'm kind of lazy though. Just like to lie flat. Don't like sports. I don't like to be nosy. So pretend I don't exist. You can check as you want. Lu Guodong secretly heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this. He was originally worried about this province. The consultant sent by the hall is difficult to serve. Now it seems that this person is very easy to get along with. Then Lu Guodong looked at Tang Ching with a smile on his face. That's good. I like young people like you. Let's do it. Tell me about this case. Lu Guodong immediately started this conspiracy. The whole process of the murder. Say it again to Tang Ching. And after listening, Tang Ching murmured while meditating. It should be true that Zhao Hua was killed by Li Na, but Li Na will never be a ghost. The ghost is someone else. So, what is the relationship between Li Na and the ghost? Could it be that they killed Zhao Hua together? No. If the two are in a cooperative relationship, as long as they cooperate with each other, they can easily kill Zhao Hua. Li Na will not be suspected so easily. If not for cooperation, what will be the relationship between them? Was Li Na just being used as a pawn? Yes, if so, then it all makes sense. Lu, I think I probably know the truth. What do you mean? Is the analysis of our criminal police team mostly right? Hurry up and find the enemy for a meeting. You are in trouble. This opponent is formidable. Lu Guodong frowned when he heard this. He couldn't believe his people were at the murder scene, but not as young as this young man in front of me. Half an hour of human analysis. Soon the police conference room was full. And everyone's eyes. They all gathered in Tangcheng. Let me go through the whole case for you first. First of all, the characters in this case have ghosts, and our police. The ghost is the real murderer, and behind the scenes planning, also the manipulator, and Li Na and we are both his wives. The child summons is his goal. Are you saying we've all been tricked by ghosts? You'll know after listening to my analysis. The secret process should be like this. First, the ghost contacted Li Na. Then I don't know what reason. Get Li Na to agree to kill Zhao Hua. And it was committed at the appointed time. Then why did he come up with a preview of killing? Just get rid of him in secret. This is where I say he's great. Murder notice. Our police will definitely send someone to protect the call. But we put all our attention on the possibility. When the ghost appears, it created an opportunity for Li Na to start. The Wraith only did two things in the process. Comfortable Li Na and call us. From start to finish, this guy didn't end up at all. Then we just need to find their communication records. You can solve the case. If I'm not mistaken, these records have already been destroyed by him. So, whether we can convict Li Na or not, the ghosts themselves will be safe. The report from Mai's side has come out. Zhao Hua did die suddenly due to an overdose of penicillin. Then how did Li Na start? I don't agree with your analysis on this. I don't think Li Na put penicillin in the water. They put it on themselves. Like boobs. As soon as this sentence comes out, everybody here all showed a look of shock. However, Tang Cheng continued his analysis. There are two advantages to this. First of all, it's not very easy to think of this way. As long as you take a shower after cleaning and doing that kind of thing. Taking a shower is a smooth thing. So even if we thought of that, Li Na can also easily circle the past. If it is as you say, then why did Li Na leave it on the water glass? What about penicillin residues? This is also a smart place. Intentionally leave a little residue on the water glass. It can be proved that he ate all the penicillin he bought. It can also affect our judgment. Based on this fact, I have 3 pieces of bad news for you. First, at the moment we can't find the ghost, because the other party used a voice changer when calling. So we don't even know if he is male or female. Second, as long as Li Na sticks to that rhetoric and doesn't plead guilty, we can't convict him. Third, ghosts will continue to commit crimes. And it should be in the near future. As Tongqing's voice fell, people in the conference room, all of a sudden, their eyes widened, looking at Tangcheng. At this time, Wang Tao was full of doubts. These are your guesses. How can I prove that what you say is true? The signal source can prove that Li Na is not a ghost, because he can't be in 2 places at the same time. As for me, the ghost will continue to commit crimes. It's because of the number 1 on that phone. Since there is a first, there will definitely be a second and a third. Another thing is that Li Na is a housewife, smearing the chest with penicillin to kill. It's not something he can come up with. And his composure in the face of the police, and logical clarity in answering questions, and well-founded. These are not things he can do. As soon as this sentence comes out, they were still questioning the people in Tangcheng at the moment. However, just as they began to reassess this young man, 1 billion police officer hurried into the conference room. Captain Li Na's lawyer is here. Ask us to let him go. Let go? How can we let go of a murderer? Let him go. Every time he kills someone, we'll call the police in advance. The new game has started. The person I want to kill this time is Sun Weinan. At the age of 47, he pulled out the calling card and broke it. Then it was thrown into the water with the phone. At the same time, the picture of the massacre 20 years ago also appeared in front of his eyes, and as the only survivor of that year, he has been studying perfect crime for 18 years. Also began his second revenge. However, what he did not know was that just 2 days ago, his lifelong enemy has also come to Tomatoes. Criminal police force. Now I live in a famous high-end community in the city. Xiaocheng, are your parents okay? They are fine. I travel all over the country every day. Much more energetic than me. Why are you working so hard? Just have enough money to spend. What's the use of having more money when you don't go home every day? As Tom's voice fell, the middle-aged man on the side seemed to. I heard the trick. Then they began to change the subject. That small town? Will you still go to the provincial hall after coming back this time? But I shouldn't be able to go back in a short time. You don't know about tomatoes recently. Picked up a pretty good criminal. I can't go without catching this guy. What's the matter, Brother Tang Chang? Confidentiality, brother. Will you tell me? Don't worry, I'll never say it. Xiaodong, don't fool around. Can you ask me this kind of thing casually, Xiao Chang? You haven't talked about a girlfriend yet? Second province, you know. But I'm such a lazy person. Girlfriends only affect the pace of my life. But when you are old, you should start a family. You should think about your parents if you don't think about yourself. Voyage can't escape the second aunt's questioning. The thief's urgent voice changes to the second aunt. Don't tell me if I were Sister Yen, I would be almost 30. I'm worried about my younger brother. As soon as this sentence comes out, the two elders immediately cast a strange gaze at Tang Yen. Each one saves me worry. Tang Yen, you must go on a blind date this week. I'm not going. Look how old you are. If it were in our place, a kid your age would use soy sauce. If you don't get married again, wait until the old pearl is yellow. Who would want to marry you? Then I won't marry. Okay, say less. Marriage is not a game. He has the final say in my best friend's marriage. Cousin who heard this, tears flowed down instantly. Then he lowered his head with grievance on his face. Okay. You are all cheerful. I'm futile and unreasonable, okay? Who am I doing this for? Tang Yen saw this, instantly realized the seriousness of the matter. Immediately began to comfort her mother not to cry. I promise you, okay? Really see Tang Yen nodding. Tang's mother changed her expression in an instant. Then a few people became Tang Yan's life event. We started talking about it. Just then, Tang Xiaodong's eyes suddenly lit up. I think our math teacher is pretty good. Tall and handsome, very nice. We love him. The teacher's words are decent. What was his name? How old is it this year? His name is Wu Ying. It should be smaller than the street. Tang Xiaodong then began to introduce it excitedly. The time soon came to the next day. Tang Chang brought Tang Xiaodong to school. Attend a parent-teacher conference. At this time, I am also communicating patiently with several parents. The child's condition. Feng Chang, this child studies seriously and consciously. Can teach such a child. I can see that you put your mind to it. If anything, there is still room for improvement. It's self-esteem. Sometimes I know I'm wrong. I don't want to admit what I said in the past. Obedient. Good nature. She's a very nice girl. Soon there were fewer and fewer people in the classroom. He also brought Tang Xiaodong to Wu Ying. Hello, I am Xiaodong's Tongking. Hello Mr. Wu. Are you free tomorrow night? See Wu Ying's face full of doubts. Tang Chang immediately began to explain. It's the following. Today, Xiaodong's parents sometimes can't come. Let me say sorry to you. Also want to ask you. Do you have time to sit at Xiaodong's house tomorrow night? Jiangxi talks about children's issues. You may not know. Xiaodong's parents are very concerned about his studies. That's why I made such a request. Mr. Wang, I'm really sorry. Of course I would like to communicate more with Xiaodong's parents. But unfortunately I have an evening study tomorrow night. So it doesn't matter. I'll handle this. After catching Tang Chang, he turned around and went out. After a few minutes, he hurried back. If you are full, tomorrow night's evening self-study will be replaced by someone else. Sorry, Mr. Wu. I was in a hurry so I left first. I'll pick you up after school tomorrow. Unequal shadowless opening. Tang Chang pulled Tang Xiaodong out of the classroom quickly. And watching the back of Tang Chang leaving, Wu Ying frowned involuntarily. This Tang City. It looks like he should be working in a government unit. Or your official position is not small. Or the family relationship is very hard. Otherwise, won't convince the director to change my shift so quickly. And invited me to Tang Xiaodong's house. It should not be as simple as home textiles. What else is there? The time soon came for the next day. Wu Ying found Tang Xiaodong with yesterday's question. Xiaodong told the teacher, why did your parents invite me to your house? Tang Xiaodong, who heard this, was stunned for a moment. He knew he couldn't tell the truth. And Wu Ying also saw that something was wrong with him. It's okay to say. Since the teacher has promised, he will definitely go. Just know in advance and be mentally prepared. Tang Xiaodong hesitated for a moment. Or tell their true purpose. And after listening to Wu Ying, then he showed a speechless expression. After all, they did it without his consent. I helped him make a decision. Pretty soon, Wu Ying was led by the two brothers in Tangcheng. Came to the Tang family, the Tongshen couple. After learning about Tang Xiaodong's situation, it also begins today's important part. Wu doesn't know. What plans do you have for your future? I love being a teacher. Teaching is good. If nothing else happens, I will always be a teacher. After listening to Tongshen, he nodded thoughtfully. And he obviously wasn't happy with that answer. Seeing this, Wu Ying immediately offered to leave. Just after Shadowless left, Tang Shan suddenly turned to look at Tang Yen. Daughter, what do you think of this Shadowless one? Not great. From the beginning to the end, he didn't look at me very much. Although a nice young man. But it's just a bit more temperamental. Too old-fashioned. I don't think it's suitable for our daughter. Originally, Yen's temperament was cold. How boring would it be to find someone equally cold? Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate either. Besides, people don't have the intention at all. Or think about other people. Choose. The couple discussed the next human blood again. But Tang Yen got up and left silently. At the same time, Tang Cheng was driving Wu Ying home. Inexplicably developed a sense of intimacy towards Wu Ying. And what he didn't know, it was empathy. It's a unique aura for people like them. Sometimes I find the world boring. Everyone has their own position, and these martial arts positions are intertwined. There will be many contradictions, like what happened today. But from the standpoint of my second uncle and aunt, parenting, it's only natural to worry about your children's marriages. But in my cousin's position, it was to reassure the parents. Even if you are not happy in your heart, you can only cooperate. And in my shoes, famous elders. I have to trick you into burying this trip again. Of course, the most innocent person being deceived has to endure impatience to deal with it. I think the friendliness in the face is the most loving. No one is truly free. Prisoners of the world. A game of chess. Only God is a straight chess player. If God were to abandon me. So I started this game, and I made my own Good move. Loss, but just a little less courage. If you want me to lose, you have to add the sentence. It will be easier for me to finish the day. Tang Cheng handed out his business card. I'm a forensic consultant. If you need help, you can contact me. I apologize to you again for what happened today. Of course, it's okay to ask me out for a drink. It's Friday in the blink of an eye. It is also the day when Wu Ying hunted Sun Wei. And Lu Guodong on the other side is in a meeting. Discuss the mysterious case from 3 days ago. But what they don't know is, the second preview of the ghost's murder is also coming. Why are you so depressed? There is no such thing as a perfect crime. Cheer me up and think about it. There must be something we're missing. Just in Lu Guodong Zhang. When cheering everyone up loudly, street police officer Zhang hurriedly ran into the conference room. Captain Lu's ghost is calling again. Lu Guodong, who reacted, was immediately refreshed. Take it right away, it's taken. When Zhang Min's voice fell, Wei Aishi's phone also rang. Lu Guodong picked up the phone without hesitation. How is Captain Lu recently? What do you want? I'm just playing a game of chess. Let's get down to business. Sun Weina from Qingzhong Village, East 3rd Ring Road. I'm going to kill him at 47. Oh, by the way, you may not have much time this time. I'll do it in an hour. The new game has started. It's a race against time. Guess who will win? Ghost, I swear I have to catch it myself. Hear the beep on the phone. At this time, Lu Guodong was already furious to the extreme. He understood that this was a blatant insult to the police. But as a battle-hardened old police officer, soon he regained his emotions. Then he looked at the crowd with a serious face. All foreign enterprise personnel will be dispatched immediately. The people present did not hesitate at all. Everyone was instantly put to work. Just at this moment, Lu Guodong suddenly turned his head. Looking at Tang Cheng in the corner. Brother Tang, I'll leave it to you here. Go ahead and don't get your hopes up. Ackerson wants most of the ingredients for today. Facing the crow's mouth and Tang Cheng, Lu Guodong chose to turn a blind eye. After all, the other party is a criminal investigation. The position itself is bigger than right after they left. Tang Cheng suddenly showed a face full of excitement. Because the signal operator of the ghost phone is fast. It is also faster to check the vehicle under Sun Wei's name. Send someone to the Ministry of Transportation to communicate. I want to control all road surveillance tonight. Finally, there is one more urgent matter. Bring me a cup of coffee. Zhang Min, who was so hard to say this, he didn't expect the guy in front of him would make such a joke at such a tense moment. However, Zhang Min, who reacted, he walked out of the hall, did not ask any more questions. At the same time, Wu Ying, who came to the village in the city, I also took it out long ready ago. For the second Nokia. Who is calling so late? Northeast, don't talk. Listen to me, the police called out a minute ago. Coming to your house at full speed to catch you. It will be with you in 10 minutes. It happened 20 years ago. The police have obtained evidence. Don't ask anything now. Drive away immediately. I'll tell you what to do next. After listening to Sun Wei, he was dumbfounded. In the face of this sudden news, he's still a little overwhelmed. However, he didn't wait for Sun Wei to react. A stranger's voice came over the phone again. What are you still doing? Run. Run. Sun Wei, who came to his senses, began to panic. Pretty soon, he got off to the car under the command of the mysterious man. Now you keep calm for me. As long as you do as I say, sure it'll be all right. You say it, I listen to you. You are now taking the road from Zhongshan Park to Lotus Pond. Remember to take the road of Zhongshan Park. I'm going to Zhongshan Park. Calm down and keep the phone open. Wait until you arrive at Zhongshan Park. I'll tell you what to do next. Don't worry, you will die the moment you think you are safe. He didn't write the name of a single enemy. The enemy will die mysteriously that night. Then he had to call the police. Hello, police officer. Let you know. I'm going to kill someone. Just because he was the one 20 years ago. The only survivor of the massacre. Now he has been studying perfect crime for 18 years. Finally began his revenge plan. You guys ready? Hunting game open. Who started it? So late. Sun Wei, what happened to you 20 years ago has come to light. The police are coming to your house to catch you. Don't ask anything now. Drive away immediately. I'll tell you what to do next. Don't worry, you will die the moment you are safe. The police received the ghost's second homicide. The reaction was immediate after the announcement. However, when Lu Guodong, when he arrived at Sun Wei's house with more than a dozen police officers, found that this place has long been empty. Mom is still a step slower. Wang Tao. Is Sun Wei's phone still disconnected? The phone is always on. We can't get through it all. Contact Tang Cheng immediately. Ask him to arrange for someone to locate Sun Wei's mobile phone. Just as Lu Guodong's voice fell, my cell phone rang. Demonstration that Team Lu is no longer at home. How do you know? Just successfully located Sun Wei's mobile phone. At this time, he is heading towards Zhongshan Park. The positioning ant has been sent to you. Hurry up. If it is slow, there may be problems. Go to Zhongshan Park. Everyone who heard this did not hesitate at all, but immediately got in the car and went to Sun Wei's location. At the same time, after arriving at Zhongshan Park, Sun Wei also picked up the phone. Here I am. Nice. See that construction site up ahead? I'm right at the gate of the construction site. Get off now. There's a rock under the sign next to you. There is a mobile phone below. Take it out. Then destroy your own phone. We'll use that phone to contact next. After completion, open towards the lotus pond. When we get there, I'll tell you what to do next. After listening to Sun Wei, he immediately drove away from the construction site. Lu Guodong and his party also rushed over. After searching for a while, I found that I was one step late again. Just when Lu Guodong was about to go crazy, Tang Ching called again. It looks like you're one step too late. Then you can look everywhere, especially outbound intersections. I guess Sun may be leaving the city. As for the Ministry of Transportation, I have already sent someone there. Although the whole process of monitoring still has to go through some processes. Sun Wei is dead. Ghost, this guy seems to have given the police a chance. In fact, no chance was given at all. He was before it all started. I've already counted the time for everything. Apparently Tang Cheng has given up this rescue. And what he's going to do now? Just wait for the ghost to complete the hunt. Subsequently, the flaws left in the process of committing crimes through the other party, and the other side. Sun Wei is already under the command of successfully left the city and came to the straight east to Nyotua Mountain. At this time, Sun Wei did not dare to hesitate too much. The car started hiking to the mountains. However, just as they were about to reach Sun Wei, who has regained his sanity, but gradually stopped. Then he picked up his cell phone and dialed the shadowless number. Who is it and why is it helping me? It doesn't matter who I am. You just need to know. We are now grasshoppers on a rope. I won't feel better if you get caught. Sun Wei's eyes lit up when he heard this. After all, there were a lot of participants in that incident. He knows no more than 10. Are you a Chong or Big Head? Forget it, I'll know when I see you. You won't see me. Besides, if I really want to see you, do you dare to come? As soon as this sentence comes out, Sun Wei, who is still worried that the other party will kill him, relaxed. So far he's talking to the person on the other end of the phone. Well, we swore back then, I will never see you again, so as not to watch out for each other. But now I'm out of town. But it is estimated that he will be wanted soon. You won't leave me alone, will you? I left you something at Nyoto Mountain. Cash alone has 500,000. After you get your stuff, find a place to hide first. I'll help you get a new identity, but it takes time. Thanks bro, I'm almost there. Did you see that forest? Stuff is in there. After listening to Sun Wei, he immediately walked into the woods. He walked very carefully. However, just then, Sun Wei seems to have thought of something again. So he stopped walking immediately. I know who you are. I've been thinking from the beginning. How did you know the police would come for me? And the ability to help me get a new identity. Come to think of it, there's only one possibility. So you shut up. You work in the police department. Sun Wei, please remember. I saved you today. Otherwise you know what will happen to you. Sun Wei was not angry when he heard the other parties yelling. Instead, he showed a face full of excitement. Don't worry, I don't know anything. By the way, what you said is not to eat. Placed on a stone. I seem to have seen it. That's right, grab your stuff and get out of here. Sun Wei did not think much about the supplies in front of him. He strode towards the rock. But just as he was about to approach the stone, suddenly I feel empty under my feet. Then Sun Wei's scream came from the pit. And the other side. The corners of Wu Ying's mouth rose slightly when he heard the movement. This was all within his expectations. Soon he picked up his phone again. I dialed a familiar number. Ghost, come out for me. Captain Liu, don't be so excited, okay? You are like this. It will make it difficult for me to continue communicating with you. He's dead on the mountain just outside the city. Hurry up and deal with it, so as not to pollute the environment. You son of a bitch. I tell you the maid. When you hear this familiar voice. Wu Ying was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect to be a friend he met yesterday. Now he has become his opponent. Moments later, Wu Ying raised the corner of his mouth again and said, Why am I cowardly? You say it's a race against time. But you cheated. You didn't give us any chance to win at all. I look down on people like you who hang up in games, because only the weak would do that, and the strong will win by their own strength. Mr. Tang, you will be responsible for communicating with me in the future. Captain Liu is still too irritable. Okay, that's it for today. With the beep on the phone. Tang Cheng also frowned. He didn't understand why the other party knew his surname was Tang. I don't know why the other party is calling. Let the police collect the body. Think of this. Tang Cheng suddenly looked at Lu Guodong seriously. Lu is right. We need a psychologist. Isn't there one on the team? There are several more. I'm talking about real psychologists, not the kind of expert with a certificate in hand. You should know. Why'd I mean? Such a person has no tomatoes. Besides, even if you can find it, others may not want to work in the police force. Go find it. Want the best. When I find it, I'm responsible for recruiting people into the police force. This ghost is an absolutely amazing character. The war between us and him. It's going to be a long game, but you don't have to worry. It cannot be broken in a short time. I will use my father's connections. Keep you for now. You just focus on the case. Try to catch this guy soon. Besides, you've done your best. It's not unreasonable. They will understand. The two who heard this breathed a sigh of relief. The tension of the past few days also dissipated a lot at this moment. The time soon came to the next day. At Tongqing's suggestion, Tomato Criminal Police formally formed a project for the Ghost Trailer Project. Let's start with you. About the two deceased in the Ghost Trailer case. I've done the autopsy. Although there are still some test results that have not come out. But it basically doesn't affect the judgment. Let's talk about Sun Wei first. No physical trauma except penetrating injury, and no toxins remain in the body. What is certain is, cause of death was hemorrhage caused by wire penetration. At the same time, according to the mucus on the surface of the skin, the deceased sweated profusely before excessive exercise. So it can be judged. The road from Tomato Suburban to Nyo Camel Mountain. The dead cannot pass. Let's talk about Zhao Hua. My appraisal results. Basically, it kisses the appraisal result of the previous colleague. But there is one thing based on the corpse. A small room after Zhao Hua's death. It was slightly moved. As soon as this sentence comes out, eyes suddenly lit up. That's true. After sudden death, blood circulation in the body will stop immediately. And according to the blood concentrations in Xiaohua's body, it can be seen that he has been moved again since then. Causes blood concentrations in the extremities there is to compare with other locations. Is that acceptable as evidence? Prove that Li Na is the murderer of Xiaohua? This is indeed evidence. But it's only circumstantial evidence, not enough to convict. And Li Na can also find his reason. He would say, I accidentally touched Xiaohua's body while sleeping. This causes the physical emotion to change. So Dang Ping can't be convicted of this. Lu Guodong, who heard this, then he showed a face full of disappointment, but soon regained his fighting spirit. At least this forensic doctor in front of you. It looks much more professional than the original ones. Think of this, Lu Guodong. Then he looked at the trace expert on the side. Tell me ahead. The first crime scene has passed too long, can no longer be surveyed. So I only surveyed the scene of Niu Tua Mountain. The pit the victim fell into was about 2 meters deep, and there are no traces of mechanical equipment around. According to the incision inside the pit, can judge, this pit was dug out by someone with a shovel. It follows from this that the person digging the pit should be over 1.75 meters tall. At the same time, in addition to the footprints of the deceased, but they found a lot of tiny fibers. Explain that the person who dug the hole was wearing gloves and foot covers according to the analysis of the soil condition of the deep pit. It should have been about a week since this pit was dug out. To be honest, this is the cleanest scene I've ever seen. That ghost's counter-reconnaissance skills are very excellent. After listening, Lu Guodong nodded in satisfaction. You turn around. Looking at network technology expert Wu Chang. Li Na's call history and online account number. There are also social platforms, as everyone investigated before. Nothing unusual. But after I investigated his text messages, found one of them suspicious. Other text messages can be found, but this check found nothing. And there is a link in it. It's a website that has been deleted. Hearing this, Tang Cheng instantly became interested. Then he looked at Wu Chang with excitement. Can you restore this website? Yes, Taoists can. But it requires a lot of manpower and resilience doesn't really mean much. This kind of temporary website, after deleting, the data inside will also disappear. As for the 2 phone calls left by the ghost, I have tracked, but it didn't work. This person is an expert. If he doesn't have technical support behind him, then he himself should have accepted professional training in this area. As Wu Chang's voice fell, all at the same time to the last member, cast a look of expectation. However, psychologist Hu Mei looked at Tang Cheng. You go first. I already know what happened in the first case, but I know very little about Sun Wei's case. So I need you to sort through this case first. I can analyze it more accurately. As soon as this sentence comes out, everyone looked at Tang Cheng. At the same time, Tang Cheng also began to tell everyone the details of the second murder preview case. However, after Tang Cheng did not sit down immediately. He frowned. It is worth noting that. What method did he use to make Sun Wei obey? I want you two to know each other, or the ghost has something on Sun Wei. Or both. And the handle is mostly that Sun Wei has committed crimes before. It's a terrible sin. Why is that? If Sun Wei had committed a major crime before, then the ghost just needs to tell him. We just have to catch him. Do you think Sun Wei will be obedient? And judging from what happened that night, the reason why Sun Wei left in such a hurry, it's very possible that he's not afraid of ghosts. It's about us. Just like the son of Xiaohua. That's right, we're tool men again. Indirectly helped the ghost complete the murder. After listening to Tang Cheng's analysis, nodded. Then they looked at Humlan together. 25 to 35 years old, between 1.75 meters and 1.9 meters tall, immediately began to doubt Hu Mei's professionalism. After all, these characteristics any artist here can analyze it. However, Hu Mei's next words. But everyone present was shocked to drop their jaws. Every time a woman withdraws money, but she doesn't spend it herself, her nearby, then lose the money and run away. Unexpectedly, this time he was hit by 2 police officers. It turned out to be just a few days ago. The tomato detectives received a murder notice. My name is Ghost. Let you know. I'm going to kill someone. For this, the police have reorganized the special task force for ghost and each member is an expert in their field. This person is mild-mannered, intellectual, calm and rational, and also have a certain degree of obsessive-compulsive disorder. As Hu Mei's voice fell, everyone present suddenly showed their faces, shock. They don't understand. How can a serial killer be mild-mannered? Also incomprehensible. How can such a person have obsessive-compulsive disorder? That's right, it's mild. Why can people pretend? But some things can't be hidden. It's the subconscious. Subconscious mind determines one's thinking direction. It's beyond the control of reason. Absolute instinct. On the surface, the ghost is a lunatic, a conceited psychopathic murderer. But it doesn't. This is all on purpose. Deliberately confuse our judgment. It can be seen from these 2 cases. His subconscious doesn't want to see blood. If you want to kill someone, take Sun Wei from last night as an example. Be on the Bullhead Mountain. Kill Sun Wei with your own hands. But he didn't. They chose the more laborious and time-consuming trap because in his subconscious he doesn't like violence. So how do you explain the obsessive-compulsive disorder you mentioned? He also called us to dispose of the body. Avoid polluting the environment. Now, it's not a show. He just wants us to deal with the scene sooner. Avoid polluting the environment. After listening to Hu Mei's analysis, although everyone still has some doubts, but no one refuted, After all, they all know. Hume is a professional in this regard. One of his elders is a senior police officer, and the two are very close. That is to say, the Phantom may have a police detective father. You mean someone is asking him to commit a crime? It can be judged from these two cases. The ghost is very familiar with the police handling process. It's not something that intelligence and knowledge can explain. Must have received professional education. So there must be an elder by his side who will teach him carefully. If not for the father-son relationship, who would be so dedicated? So, it's quite possible that the ghost has a police father. Why do I feel like you're talking about me? You're not so calm yet. So far, psychologist Hume. Already 4. The ghost paints an incomplete picture. And Shadowless on the other side would never have thought. He orchestrated 2 perfect hunts. It has been almost restored by the analysis of these people. At this point he was seriously planning a 3rd hunt. And the next target is a woman. But it's hard to be successful without leaving a flaw. To complete this perfect plan, one more condition needs to be satisfied. Money. But where should I start? Get so much money. Just when Shadowless began to suffer. But suddenly my eyes lit up. Seems like there's nowhere else to get money but him. After speaking, Wu Ying immediately got up and walked out. Due to the lack of police evidence, Li Na was acquitted a few days ago. But what he doesn't know is, in a black van not far away, 2 men are staring at him day and night. Give one example. When will these days end? Don't put that woman in jail. We're not going home. It's been a week. But found nothing. Besides, I'm not a fool. How could it give us a chance to seize the handle? I think we're supposed to live in this car for a year and a half. Can't be original. They are the police sent by Wang Tao to spy on Li Na. Obviously at this moment, they are starting to get tired of the job. However, while Ma Lei was still complaining about it, looking at the cattle people outside the window, they suddenly feel refreshed. Then he looked in the direction pointed by Niu Min. I saw the school gate. A courier handed a package to Li Na. And after Li Na opened it, put the packaging bag at will, throw it in the trash can. Then he left the school with a child. Isn't it just a courier? What's all the fuss about? Happy for nothing. That's not right. Why didn't Li Na's courier be sent home, but to the school? Ma Lei suddenly woke up when he heard it. Subsequently, get out of the car and find the courier packaging bag in the trash can. A few minutes later, returned to the car with a disappointed face. What's going on? I called the courier. He said that Li Na wanted him to send it directly to the school for Li Na's son. As a result, the school was not allowed to enter. And it just so happened that Li Na was picking up the children at the school gate. So I gave it directly to Li Na. Do you want to report it? Report it. What if it's a useful clue? No gain, just being scolded. But if you get something, it's a credit. Anyway, I'm used to being scolded these days. It doesn't work all day. Then the two will just. What I saw was reported to Wang Tao. Wang Tao, who hangs up the phone and returns to the conference room. But it attracted the attention of Lu Guodong. What's the hurry? Don't worry, we'll talk about it later. Tang Dynasty, continue. We have just analyzed the purpose of ghost killing. I think there are 3 possibilities. First, random homicide revenge society. Purposeless selection of targets to kill, not for money or anything else, and the second is revenge. It is possible that Zhao Hua and what have you done to hurt the ghost? Or his family? The third ghost move is the Inquisitor. Judge those he believes are guilty. Everyone who heard this fell into deep thought. After all, Tang Cheng's analysis is not unreasonable. Psychologist Hume was the first to speak. I think the first possibility can be ruled out. What's your reason? As I analyzed earlier, ghosts are gentle. He can't do random murder. If it's random homicide, then he will basically choose a target that is easier to start with. For example, children and women, rather than uncontrollable adult males, and kill immediately. They tend to stay in rural areas, instead of everywhere in the city. So this possibility can be basically ruled out. Well, that means, ghosts kill for revenge. Or a death sentence. Can you decide what the reason is? According to the brothers' investigation, whether it is Zhao Hua or Sun Wei, although it is not a good thing, but from the resumes of the two, and the dictation of the people around me, neither of them did anything wrong. If ghosts are personal affairs, there is no reason to choose them as targets. What do you mean? Ghosts kill solely for revenge. Yes, if it's revenge. Then between Zhao Huan and Sun Wei, there must be some connection. But the problem is that these laws, I go through various channels, investigated these two people upside down. It turned out that the two were unrelated. That is to say, at least according to my research results, the chances of revenge are slim. I don't think so. From a psychological perspective, if the ghost takes itself as the judge, his motive is judgment, so his modus operandi, it must be related to the target's crime. But as far as I know about Zhao Hua, his crime should be greed. But the way the ghost killed him. But it has nothing to do with greed. Besides, Sun Wei is lazy, selfish, and irritable. The way the ghost killed him was by using a trap. This is also not in line with the practice of the judge. And what Wu Chang said also makes sense. If it's revenge, then there must be some connection between the victims. So I think both scenarios are possible. Seeing that several people have different opinions. Lu Guodong also frowned. After all, once the motive for the ghost's murder is determined, they also have a direction to investigate. Think of this. Lu Guodong suddenly looked up at the crowd. So there's disagreement. That's all for now. Wang Tao, have you found anything? Ale called to say. Li Na received a courier. Not much. These two bastards are probably trying their luck again. Just when Wang Tao was still disapproving, Tang Cheng's eyes suddenly lit up. Then he looked at Wang Tao expectantly. What courier? Tell me now. Wang Tao is about to happen over there. Say it carefully. That's it. Wu Chang in the corner is also interested. Send me the order number. I'll check it out. Then Wu Chang, after some crackling, suddenly excited. Yes, the ghost has appeared again. As soon as this sentence comes out, the crowd who were still dead just now, instantly came the spirit and Lu Guodong. At this moment, he looked at Wu Chang with excitement. What's going on? The seasonal person information of this courier is fake. Deal with ghosts and still be sleepy. Wang Tao, who reacts, immediately takes out his mobile phone. Where is Li Na now? At home? We just followed him back from school. He was staring at me. If I get rid of it, I'll skin you both. Mailden didn't feel good when he heard that. But the cattle people on the side are sad. Did they find something? Could it be the courier's problem? The two who reacted immediately perked up. They didn't expect a message reported at will would have such a big effect. 10 minutes later, a black car slowly approached them. From now on we will monitor together. You are in charge of the front. I'm in charge of the side. Remember, any discoveries must be reported to me as soon as possible. Boss, is it the courier's problem? Yes, the ghost appeared. You should know the seriousness of the problem. Cheer me up. The two who heard this were instantly resurrected with blood. After all, they don't want to stay here any longer. The time soon came in the afternoon. Li Na finally appeared in the sight of the two of them. I saw Li Na walk into the bank. After a while, he left with a bag. After the two reported the situation, immediately drove up. Be careful not to get caught. We're going to be rich this time. You said if you catch the ghost this time. What recognition will we both get? At least they won't send us out on the field again. God bless us all the best. I've had enough of sleeping in the car. Pretty soon, the two followed Li Na's car to the suburbs. After Li Na got out of the car, but threw the bag into the ditch by the side of the road. Then leave quickly. Seeing this, Ma Lei immediately picked up the walkie-talkie. Li Na threw the money into the ditch and ran away. What do we do now? You continue to follow Li Na. Leave the rest to us. After turning off the walkie-talkie, the two immediately drove, heading in the direction Li Na left. And the other side, Lu Guodong's voice came from Wang Tao's phone. Nina should be sending money to the ghost, so just keep this bag of money. Wait for the ghost. Be careful, it's up to you. Team Lu, don't worry. As long as the ghost comes, I will make it difficult for him to fly. Good to report the situation anytime. After hanging up the phone, and there was great joy in the office. Everyone is ready to catch the ghost and feel happy. However, Tang Cheng in the corner frowned. Grain pile. The ghosts couldn't have imagined that we were under surveillance. Why would he still do this? Even if you were really short of money, shouldn't have bled so much. What went wrong? Am I thinking too much? Yes, it's money. Transfer definitely won't work. No matter what method he uses, we can find him. The cash withdrawn from the bank has a number. The ghost can't be used even if it gets it. Could it be that Li Na is just a cover? Think of this. Tang Cheng suddenly stood up abruptly. We've been tricked. Every time he delivers takeout, will arm themselves in advance. Especially the knees. 99 layers of bandages are required. Stop, the delivery staff in our community cannot enter. I'm sorry I can't kneel. I mean let you make a call. Excuse me, the other delivery staff couldn't kneel either. Give me the takeaway instead. Why is it so difficult to communicate with you? Pretty soon, a middle-aged woman with heavy makeup came to the doorman. Took takeout. And the other side sees that the order has been completed without a shadow. But I can't help but raise the corner of my mouth slightly. You guys ready? The game starts. It was 3 days ago. Wooing in order to complete the third hunt. By courier. Conveyed a message to Li Na asking for money. And Li Na is on the way to deliver the money. But was found by the police who were watching him. In the criminal police force. They are all rejoicing that they are about to catch the ghost. Tang Cheng in the corner found something wrong. Oops, we got it. What happened to Don? Too late to explain. Send someone to Li Na's house immediately. Let's see who went after Li Na went out. His home. Hearing this, Lu Guodong did not hesitate at all. Immediately arranged for someone to go to Li Na's villa. Li Na has also returned home. And this time, a middle-aged man is staring at him with a worried face. What happened to the wheat? Brother, don't worry about this. Have you done everything I asked you to do? It has been placed where you said. And it's all clean money, the kind that can never be found. Hearing this, Li Na finally breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't care about the little money. But I don't want to put my big brotherly gang. Get involved. Tell me what happened. Since that bastard Zhao Hua died, you've been worried. We are brother and sister. No matter what happens, brother will help you carry it. It's okay, don't ask. But do you believe me? Not telling you is good for you, good for me, but once I tell you, all of us are in danger. Please believe me. After listening, Li Gang nodded thoughtfully. However, in this matter, suddenly there was a knock on the door. Madam, the police are here. Say something and let me open the door. Sister Lu, please invite them in. But remember, just tell the police as we agreed. Soon the two siblings came downstairs together. By this time, the living room was already full of police officers. With the cooperation of Li Gang, perfect answer to all their questions. Wang Tao, who returned to the police station, angry about today's action. Shit, we're stupid again. In my opinion, I can't let Li Na go free. Otherwise, there is Li Na. A ghost is like having a helper. It's even harder for us to catch him. So why do we arrest him? People miss their deceased husband. Running to the cemetery in the middle of the night. As for the fear of throwing away the big bag full of paper money, people and running away. Brother is short of money, so he goes to the bank to wait for my brother to come home as a guest and send money to my brother. Then arrest his brotherly gang. That's even more nonsense. I miss my sister and go to my sister's house as a guest. You arrest people. But it's the money he gave to the ghost. Do you have any evidence? Anyway, Li Na must be caught. If there is no charge, then make him a charge. There's no need to talk about it. Absolutely not. If there is a problem, I will bear it alone. If you dare to do so, believe it or not, I can revoke your decree immediately. We are the police, not a bandit. After saying that, Tang Cheng turned around angrily and left. But Lu Guodong still frowned. Lu is actually right about Tang Cheng. We shouldn't have this idea. We are the police, I know. I was also confused for a while just now. I won't have this thought in the future. Don't blame him. He is also for your own good. I understand. You can go to work. Leave me alone. Looking at the back of Wang Tao leaving, Lu Guodong also fell into deep thought. After all, he has been a police officer for more than 10 years. I've seen too many criminals get away with it, knowing that the other party is a criminal. But the feeling of not being able to grasp it made him very crazy. Side, wooing before and after receiving Li Gang's, he also began his third hunt. This time the target is a middle-aged woman. However, the other party is fully dressed and beautiful. Become a beautiful woman live streaming host. Wooing asks Li Na for money. It is to brush gifts in the other party's live fashion. The time comes soon, in a few days. Wooing after spending millions. It has also slowly gained the trust of live streaming host picked up Nokia number 3. A familiar number dialed. Hello Zhongling. I am Tang Cheng. Haven't received my call for a long time. You must all miss me. I don't know about them. At least I miss you. Why don't you tell me? What have you been up to lately? Ha ha ha, Mr. Tang, don't bother. You know, I won't give you any chance to get to know me. So anyway. This game, I will send you a photo of the target. Then you have one day. I'll kill him this time tomorrow. This time I think I will still win. What do you think, Mr. Tang? By the way, it was a pleasure communicating with you. Wait for that to hang up with the phone. Everyone in the conference room immediately looked at Wu Chang. This guy is definitely a professional. The time card is just right. As soon as I located Shi Hong, he hung up the phone. The exact location will take at least 10 seconds. People who heard this, disappointment is written all over my face. Just then, a police officer hurriedly ran into the conference room. Team 6. Someone sent a photo on the police official website. Hearing the words, it will be operated immediately. But soon shook his head in disappointment. The other party is using an anonymous account. And it will be cancelled immediately after sending the photo. Can you restore the original appearance of this photo? I don't remember there being a software. Does it have this function? That kind of software is fooling people. The woman is wearing a lot of makeup. And there are also strong traces of beauty and retouching. To restore a photo like this, it is simply impossible to achieve without decades of development. I've done my best. Only so far. How the hell can I find someone? Crowd. Looking at the unrecognizable makeup on the computer, the back of the face has a headache. Even Wang Tao couldn't help but swear. The time soon came to the next day. There's something going on in the police conference room. Unprecedented dispute. I still think we should publish the photo. Let the person in the photo identify themselves. No way. There's a lot of unforeseen consequences. But the time is running out. If you don't do it, the woman will die. Our quarantine has been reported at noon. The above clearly states that no. I said something went wrong and I'm responsible. What are you responsible for? No one can take responsibility for this. Are you sure that's going to save him? At least try. It's not that you don't know once we do. What are the consequences? The authority of the police will be reduced. People's trust in us will also decrease. The social impact is huge. Squadron. I know you only want to solve cases and protect the people. But we also have to consider the overall situation. You don't think about yourself. Also to your hardworking brothers and sisters. Think about it. Haha. The big picture is the big picture again. I'm going to the office for a break. Here. Watching the back of Lu Guodong's departure, Tang Cheng shook his head helplessly. I finally know now. Why has this guy been working for more than 10 years? Just a captain. It's not that he can't do it. But this guy is a dead brain. But I like people like that. And the country also needs such a police. Think of this. Tang Cheng immediately got up and walked out of the conference room. And the other side, Wooing confirmed that the police had not released the photos. Smiled slightly, as if it were all under his control. Then he picked up his phone and sent a message. Zhang Wanxia, who received the news, was immediately overjoyed. He also wants to extract more money from the other party. So I went back immediately. Didn't I tell you? I can cook for myself. Don't order it next time. Seeing that he has completely gained the trust of the other party, immediately picked up a takeaway and went out. The time comes soon, 2 hours later. The atmosphere in the meeting room was different. Suddenly quiet and terrifying. Just when everyone was at a loss for this evidence, the phone in the conference room rang on time. Hello, Mr. Tang of the Tomato Criminal Police Brigade. I am a ghost. Looks like you've won again. Tell me who your prey is. Where did he die? Zhang Wanxia Honey Language. 50 years old, Unit 3, Building 2, Yurenju Community. Ghost, 1204. What are you doing this for? If you believe me, you can tell me the purpose. Maybe I can help you. You can achieve your goal without killing. Thanks, Mr. Tang. My purpose is to kill. Ha 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 ha. After hanging up the phone, Tang Cheng looked helplessly at everyone and handed it over to you. Everyone who heard this did not hesitate at all. They got up and did their jobs. After all, this is after reorganizing the first head-to-head encounter with a ghost. Tang Cheng is looking forward to these people to surprise him. The time soon came to the next day. The delivery staff Su Eru was in a confused state. Taken to the police reception room. It's over. I won't be a dad. Won't I get shot? I haven't married a wife yet. I don't want to die yet. Don't make trouble. I just asked you about yesterday. Be honest and you can go home. Hearing this, Su Eru was immediately overjoyed. Then under the question of Wang Tao, Su Eru will deliver the takeaway last night. Tell me in detail. Okay, you can rest here for a while. There are still places where I need you later. With the departure of Wang Tao, Su Eru finally breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't expect his first delivery. It's like this. I'll quit my job and change jobs when I get out. Delivery is still too dangerous. In the conference room at this time. In progress. Analysis meeting of the third murder warning case. The deceased died at his home around 11 p.m. last night. Death due to poisoning. This poison has been tested to be very special. His name is Sword Right Feng Huang. And the poison of this name. Seeing blood and sealing the throat is actually the name of a technique. From Sichuan and Hainan. The habitat of this tree is very harsh. It grows only in tropical rainforest climates. Rare tales. Studies have found that its milk is highly toxic. It's the kind of poison that seals the throat when it sees blood. Such toxins are called blood and throat sealing. It means that this poison is hard to get. That's right, it's hard for civilians to get this poison. Even officials need very complicated procedures. So it seems that as long as we find the source of the venom, maybe find the ghost. Lu Guodong, who heard this, suddenly, his face was full of excitement. Good. It's been over a month. Finally found a valuable clue. I was the first to enter the scene. After investigation, there was no second person in the house of the deceased only the deceased. At that time. Takeaway packaging and containers for food. I also investigated carefully. But strangely, no traces of poisoning were found. No eye of the needle. No fingerprints. There are no traces of secondary disassembly. That is to say, the takeaway is packaged until under the dead. No one moved during this period. That's weird. Since no one moved halfway through. So how do ghosts poison? Did it happen in the kitchen of that restaurant? Not likely. To make the ghost appear in the kitchen. He's not a ghost anymore. This behavior is so stupid. Let's put that aside. Xiaoqiang, tell me about the situation on your side. The modus operandi of this ghost is almost undisguised. He used an identity named Zhu Daguang. Enter Zhang Wanxia's live stream. Meet Zhang Wanxia. Then disguised as a less intelligent local rich man. Easily let Zhang Wanxia escape. One last favor. Zhang Wanxia can only order takeout for the other party. So Zhang Wanxia was poisoned and died. But here's what's interesting. That Zhu Daguang died 5 years ago. That is to say, as long as you know that after Zhu Daguang his bank card fell on the water hand, maybe you can follow the trail to find the ghost. Lu Guodong's eyes lit up when he heard this. After all, before the establishment of the task force, like a headless fly, the criminal police team, and now after its establishment, soon found 2 useful clues. Think of this. Lu Guodong immediately looking expectantly at psychologist Wu Mei, how about you? A ghost is a secretive thinker. This is through his 3 crimes. I think everyone can see it. So in the process of committing the crime, he has been avoiding going off in person. Strive to leave no flaws, but in these 3 cases, he did some superfluous movements, or some kind of irrational behavior. This is abnormal, and it doesn't fit the logic of his behavior. For example, the fingerprint left on the numbers for special pigments, and the venom of this crime, seeing blood and sealing the throat are all superfluous behaviors. So I was thinking, these few less obvious mistakes. Did he do it on purpose? How to say fingerprints and red numbers? Obviously redundant. But there are so many easy poisons on the market. But he had to seal his throat with a rare sight of blood. Don't you think it's strange? There is also a murder preview. The first 2 predictions are reasonable. Because he's going to use the police, then help him complete the murder. But this time it's different. It didn't help him to tell us in advance. So I guess, these abnormalities are intentional. The purpose is still unclear. I have an idea for the first 3 points. The fingerprints and numbers on that phone. A special pigment used. And this time, I saw blood and sealed my throat. It is possible that the ghost threw it on purpose. Let's find out. He is trying to use the power of the police to find information that he can't find by himself. So should we still check these 3 points? If you find out, isn't it just in the hands of the ghost? Of course check. Don't let any clues go. It depends on our confidentiality. How's the work going? Good. Currently, we already have 2 useful clues. But that's not enough. Xiaoqiang will leave this line to you when he sees blood and seals his throat. The fake identity used by Wang Tao's ghost. Zhu Daguang, this line is your responsibility. As for how to crack the ghost and poison it, I'll go take the takeout when I take the order. And that's where it comes in handy. Soon Tang Cheng brought the delivery staff Su Eru. Came to the place where the meal was picked up at that time. And Tang Cheng is being restored on the spot. And behavioral reasoning. A smile appeared on his face. Yongling, you are so careful. The rider comes to the store but doesn't pick up the meal. They kicked all the other takeaways out. Even closed the store. Prevent them from coming in again. Turns out he was assisting a detective on a case. Tang Cheng after being restored on site. He quickly figured out the killer's modus operandi. Yongling, you are so careful. Subsequently, all members of the Tomato Criminal Police Task Force gathering in the conference room again. I figured out how the ghost poisoned it. So soon, yeah, as mentioned earlier. The takeout wasn't tampered with. I didn't get poisoned on the way. There wasn't enough time. The delivery man parked his car behind a tree. Turn around and get the takeout. The whole process takes less than 20 seconds. So the wraith didn't poison here. He hid behind that big tree. Take the opportunity to switch takeout packages. He ordered both takeaways. How does the ghost know? The delivery staff will just park the car in that location. Hu Mei should be able to explain this clearly. As the voice of the Tang dynasty fell, everyone immediately turned to look at Hu Mei. Many of our behaviors seem random. In fact, many of them are inevitable, like suddenly hearing someone scream. People stop unconsciously, like seeing a light somewhere in the dark. It will subconsciously approach. A lot of times our behavior is out of control. It's just instinct. Which store has a lot of trees outside? But one of them was significantly larger than the others. When the delivery man wants to stop, we'll subconsciously park under the biggest tree. I see. That is to say, ghost before the attack. I've already prepared an identical takeout. Then hide after surgery. Quickly change the package after the delivery staff leaves. Is there any surveillance at the entrance of that store? There are 2 intersections before and after. But not around that tree. And it's all over the place. Lots of people coming and going. No way to check. So it seems that there is no harvest. Why do you look so happy? Think back to the previous 2 cases. The ghost never ended in person. But outside the case. To be honest, if he keeps going like this, stay out of it forever. I don't have the confidence to catch him at all. But this time it's different. He's off. Although there is still no flaw left for us. But this means that he's not invincible. As long as we can see every flaw, you're sure to catch him. So in my opinion, this life is bigger than ever before. Everyone who heard this instantly perked up. As if victory were at hand. And back to Tang Cheng in the office. But he is very helpless to the assistant in front of him. Are the minutes of today's meeting ready? That one isn't available yet. Busy, you tell me. What are you doing for an entire business that I don't know how to organize? Director is to summarize the main points of the meeting. Can't you do that? I've been trying all morning. But I just don't know what to do. It's not that you don't know that I'm not logical. After listening to Tang Cheng, I only felt funny and angry. He could only comfort himself in his heart. Assistant of your choice. Chosen by yourself. But he has to find someone to teach him. Lack of logic is a big problem. A lot of work won't be done in the future. Okay, come with me to Tang Yan's place tonight. I'll find you an old one. Teacher teaches you. Bai Meng nodded seriously. And the other side. Wu Ying also began to prepare for the next hunt. So pick up the phone. I dialed a familiar number. There's something I need you to do for me. Ghost, leave me alone. I did everything you asked me to do. I just want to live in peace and stability. I can give you all the money. Just let me go. Lina, I have no ill will towards you. It won't harm you or your children, but no matter what you think, now we are all in the same boat. What do you need me to do? Create a self-media company. The bigger, the better. What do you want to do? That's not what you should ask. And the less you know, the safer you and your family will be. What does this company require? No, just follow the process. Must be in compliance. After you establish it, I'll tell you what to do next. After hanging up the phone, Wu Ying fell into deep thought. He doesn't know which target to choose next. Just then, the phone suddenly rang again. Are you free tonight? Going out to see to drink? Okay, then you can go there by yourself later. At my cousin's house. I'm still in the police force. See you then. Wu Ying was disrupted by a phone call from Tang Cheng. He doesn't know what exactly is sold in Tang Cheng Gourd. However, after thinking of the location mentioned by Tang Cheng, time soon came to night. When Wu Ying knocked on the door of the Tang family, I only saw Tang artists, and in the next half hour, the atmosphere in the living room gradually became awkward. I'll see if they're back. After saying that, the two were stunned at the same time. Then he sat down again. Meng Meng called me this afternoon. It is said that Tang Cheng wants to ask you to make up lessons for him. What you said. Is it the Bai Meng who was at the cinema last time? Yes, but not for you to teach him math. Isn't he working as an assistant for Tang Cheng now? Occasionally need to deal with some copywriting. You can't do a good job without thinking logically. Is that so? Sister Tang Yan, we are back. Excuse me, the road is too congested. With the arrival of Tang Cheng and Bai Meng, the awkward atmosphere in the living room eased down in an instant. Pretty soon, several people came to the yard and chatted while eating. Well, I'll come here once a week from now on. On the one hand, it cultivates logical thinking for Bai Meng. If there is still time, you can also make up lessons for Xiaodong. It's okay. Otherwise, this girl is really giving me a headache. But I will use this makeup fee. What makeup fee? Sorry, I didn't mean that. Okay, look what I said. Don't look at my sister, she usually looks cold. Very mature. In fact, she still has a child in her heart. Otherwise, how can you become best friends with Bai Busy? This is called a nest of snakes and mice. Stink alike. You stink. I'm so fragrant. Just when a few people started to hit Bai Meng, seeing that the situation was not good, Bai Meng no idea how terrifying that ghost is. Killed 3 people. I heard he might kill again. Finish. Bai Meng suddenly felt like he had said something wrong. He randomly turned to look at Tang Cheng, but Tang Cheng didn't respond at all. After all, it's been around for a long time. There's no need to hide it from the people around you. Did you know that? Yes, I've heard of it. It is said that the ghost of that has told your police. Nothing we can do. Is he really that good? Nothing. However, this ghost is indeed different from the average criminal. So far, it's going to take some time to catch him. Speaking of which, Tang Cheng suddenly looked at Wu Ying. Seeing this, Wu Ying immediately revealed a face full of doubts. What's wrong with me? I didn't give up, I just suddenly found out. Psychologists in the police force psychological portrait. It's a good match for you. Hearing this, Wu Ying was like a blow to the head. My heart suddenly turned upside down. Even if he didn't leave any flaws. But until now, he just realized. I overlooked a very important factor. Think of this. Wu Ying pretended to be calm and looked at Tang Cheng. Are you sure you look like me? That's right, it's getting more and more similar. By the way, have known each other for so long. I still don't know what your parents do. I was an orphan. I'm sorry, it's okay if I don't want to. I've let it go after all these years. People have no way to control themselves. Born but in control of your life. It's fun to say. After a party. When he returned home, Wu Ying's expression became not worried about being solemn. Suspected by Tang Cheng. It was Tang Cheng's words. Let him feel the crisis. No, it can't go on like this. Once that psychologist took my characteristics, outline completed, I will be suspected sooner or later. I have to change my hunting style. The time comes soon, in a few days. Tomato Criminal Police Force Conference Room. We are reporting on the investigation data from this period. Since the case. Data collection on the deceased. We never stop. However, due to time constraints, didn't get any valuable information. But just now, after we studied the data, finally found a meeting point for the 3 deceased. What is it? Tell me. Sheningjin is more anxious here. I still found out when investigating Zhang Wanxia's information. Zhang Wanxia's hometown is in Shening and when the ghost first called. Also in Shening town. Let's talk about Sunway. Although he is not from Sheningjin, but I also lived there for a few years in my early years. His Jianhua real estate has a lot of projects there. So it seems ghosts are absolutely inseparable from the shadow formation. Have you made a new discovery? I checked the blood and blocked the throat. 10 years of records flowing inland. One of them is the divine shadow formation everywhere. So many. The motive for the ghost's murder is mostly related to the shadow formation. And revenge is highly likely. After confirming that there is a breakthrough, Lu Guodong immediately arranged for someone town for field investigation. And this glorious task. Naturally, it fell to the two people who were monitoring. At the same time, Sueru, who quit his takeaway job, already in uniform, became a security guard, standing at the door of the nightclub. He feels this job is better than delivering easy food. And safe. Just at this moment, suddenly, two middle-aged men in extraordinary clothes walked out. I won't send it to you. Boss who? They are still waiting for me. No delivery, no delivery. The car I ordered has also arrived. You drink slowly. I'll go first. After saying that, Zhang Wenqiang opened the car door and what he doesn't know is the man driving the car is staring at him. Pretty soon, Zhang Wenqiang was taken to an abandoned factory and when he woke up, but found that he had already been tied up and was gagged. I see. Now you're probably wondering what happened. Also scared. I don't know what I will face next. But it doesn't matter. I will tell you all your doubts slowly. After all, some words have been hidden in my heart for too long. Let me tell you a story first. Once upon a time there was a little boy. He was happy until he was 5. He has a very gentle mother. Every time a little boy sleeps, he would sit by the bed and tell him stories. So the little boy's dreams are full of beautiful fairy tales. He has a busy father, although rarely at home, but it surprises him every time he comes home. There are gifts and snacks. He had grandparents who doted on him so much. Every time he made a mistake, his mother would punish him. Grandpa and grandma would always stand up to protect him. He also has a beautiful sister. He always likes to follow his sister as a follower. But it didn't last. Soon after, the little boy's house was targeted. Someone tried to seize their family's property. So a man named Zhang Wanxia spread rumors everywhere, said the family was bereft. Did a lot of bad things. They slandered their family. They defrauded everyone of their land rent. Soon, under the spread of Zhang Wanxia, the reputation of this family is stinky. Just one night, under the instigation of some dozens of local people went to their house to make trouble. Many of them. In fact, they are all here to fish in troubled waters. But they don't care about the truth. All I know is that this family is rich. So in some people's avatars, a bunch of people going crazy rush into the little boy's house and smash it. The little boy was guarded by a kind man, hidden in a water tank. I saw my family being killed by those beasts with my own eyes. Killed but can't do anything. You know, how did that little boy feel? You wouldn't understand that feeling. It's like someone is holding a knife. Cut your heart one knife at a time. You picked the head off that bull. I know Jianhua Real Estate asked you to do it. I also know that the idiot Zhao Hua was taken advantage of. The real mastermind never leaves. It's just that I don't know who he is yet. And after getting the money, you can call Sunway and the other shareholders. In this way, no matter how big the trouble is, you are not afraid. Because the law doesn't blame the public. And so it is. After Jianhua Real Estate bought off the local police, they took my family's false accusations. It's done, and everyone involved in the errands that night just detained for a few days and released. That was the end of the massacre. Maybe you've forgotten that. You wouldn't expect that. That little boy is still alive, and now he's coming for revenge. Every time he kills someone, we'll call the police to collect the body. Hello, Captain Liu. Ghost, what do you want? Zhang Wenqiang Mail. 48-year-old CEO of Keiqiao Entertainment. Find him within an hour. Maybe there's a slim chance of saving him. Just a hint, Steel Twilight. Goodbye, Zhang Wenqiang. Be a good person in your next life. After the bastard put down the phone, Lu Guodong quickly entered the working state. However, a few hours later, in the interrogation room, looking at the familiar environment in front of you, some are dumbfounded. Why is it you again? I don't know. Aren't you the delivery man? Why did you run away to be a security guard again? Didn't you get oranges last time because of takeout? So I thought, well, it's not safe. I quit my job when I went back. But who knew that even being a security guard could be so dangerous? Okay, look at this person. Do you know him? I know him. He's a regular at the store. I often hear the manager call him Boss Zhang. So the scene where he left the nightclub market last night. Do you remember? Tell me everything you know. Then Sueru recounted everything he saw last night. Tell Wang Tao again. An hour later, all the task force members gather in the conference room again. The victim's wrist was slashed. Shock marks on the neck. He had bound bruises all over his body, but there are no signs of poisoning or medication. Can be sure of this. Excessive blood loss due to major arterial bleeding. Ghost commits this crime. Still very tight protection. His fingerprints could not be collected at the scene. Relic DNA. However, I found during my investigation there are 3 things worth mentioning. A small amount of soot was found at the first scene, although no cigarette butts were found. But at least one thing is certain. The ghost is a smoker. There are complete tire tracks outside the second factory area. Maybe we can find out the model of the ghost vehicle. Third, according to the dust on the stools on site, apparently someone has sat, and then, calculated by the extrusion of the 4 corners of the stool, the ghost weighs between 65 and 75 kilograms. About the ghost vehicle, I already have the result here. The ghost didn't deliberately avoid the surveillance but almost. This time. He brought Zhang Wenqiang to that place in a grand abandonment site, according to the tire tracks provided ahead, plus the surveillance along the way that night. This is the car used by the ghost to commit crimes. Saying that, Wu Chang turned to the computer. But don't be too happy. This car is not available in Shihong 100,000. There is no way to check 1 by 1. Besides, the license plate is also fake. So this clue is equivalent to no. Anyway, here's the bad news. Since the ghost threw the phone into the river, we can't decide anymore. It's his signal source. After every phone call, he will take out the calling card and destroy it. A hint of disappointment flashed across the faces of everyone. Then they all turned to look at Hume. This case, completely different from the previous 3 cases. It's not like a human being at all. The previous 3 cases were cleverly designed. Like a show. An art. But this time it's too simplistic and crude. He just played it and the emperor appeared. And he personally drove Zhang Wenqiang away. Then take it to a remote place to solve it by hand. That's so weird. It doesn't fit the ghost style of doing things at all. Could it be that? Did what I said to him sound wrong? At this moment, Hume's expression gradually became serious. Even his eyes were full of confusion and puzzlement. Robust Tang Cheng immediately began his analysis. Then there are only 2 possibilities. First, it's just that the mental portrait you did before is missing wrong. Second, this is what the ghost did on purpose. He committed the crime so roughly on purpose. The purpose is to influence your judgment. Hume was not comforted when she heard this. He shook his head. Apparently, he did not agree with Tang Cheng. I thought about what you said too. But you don't know. Forced into the logic of one's own actions. How difficult it is. If the ghost is really trying to mislead me, and if you make such a change, then this man is really terrifying. What did Wang Tao Suero say? According to him, he did see Zhang Wenqiang get into the car with his own eyes. But I didn't see the driver's face. I don't think he was lying. According to the monitoring of the intersection, the car had no windows, and it was night. After listening to the analysis of several people, but be disappointed. He didn't expect this is obviously the easiest crime of the ghost. But the police had no idea. Think of this. Lu Guodong looked at the crowd with some displeasure. That is to say, don't we have a clue about this case? It seems so. This time it seems simple and crude, but because of its simplicity, there are very few places that require his attention. So the chance of leaving a flaw is small. Then check that Suero again. He committed both crimes. It's too coincidental. Finish. Lu Guodong left the conference room dejected. And the other side, Wu Ying also came to Tang Yan's house as scheduled. Give Bai Meng a lesson. They want to think logically. First, you need to understand what logic is the way things go. In Taoist terms, it is called Taoism, law, it's called nature. Cause and effect, in Buddhist parlance. For example, let's say you're hungry. So what do? Eat when you're hungry? That's right, you should eat when you're hungry. So what do you do at this point? I'll go buy food. Where to buy it? Supermarket, restaurant, or milk tea shop. So the logic is that simple. When you're hungry, you need to eat. Then I will go to the supermarket to buy it. No one taught you that. Logic tells you to do it. Let's say you want to paint a picture. What do you need to do? By drawing paper first. Brush frame. Then buy a cup of milk tea and you can draw. Milk tea belongs to you. Personal hobbies can be ignored. So you see, that's logical. If you want to paint, you must have a brush and paper. Otherwise you can't paint. Just when Shadowless Disorder was explaining to Bai Meng attentively, Tang Yan and Tang Cheng suddenly walked over. How does it feel to teach a class to a fool in Bai Meng town? Do you really want to kill him? The progress is indeed a little slow, but Bai Meng is very serious. I can see he's working hard. Humph, brother Wu Ying still talks nicely. Soon, Shadowless ended today's class, and Tang Cheng was at this time looking thoughtfully at the shadows. Let me ask you a question. If a criminal will call to inform him when he commits a crime, why do you think he is? Wu Ying, who heard this, pretended to think. He didn't expect Tang Cheng to ask such a question. Maybe this criminal grew up without love. Inner distortion. So you want to get attention in this way. To soothe the empty heart. Fair enough. I didn't expect you, a math teacher, to understand some psychology. When I have nothing to do, I like to read some miscellaneous books. This is also seen in the book. If that's not the reason. Are there any other possibilities? People always have a purpose when they do things. Maybe some things seem unbelievable on the surface. But just find the key. Always find the hidden purpose. After listening to Tang Cheng, he nodded thoughtfully. The time soon came to the next day. Tang Cheng sitting in the office. I'm still thinking about yesterday's conversation with Wu Ying. And he was right. One does everything with a purpose. Not to mention highly intelligent criminals like ghosts. First of all, he was by no means twisted. It's not for fun, not to tease the police. Then the ghost has only one purpose. Make it big. The bigger, the better. This will attract the attention of the police. The motive for the ghost's murder has been determined. And that is revenge. Now he has killed 4 people. And it shows no signs of stopping. It shows that he has many enemies. Since there are many enemies, so is it possible some enemies he doesn't know who they are. But what he can do alone is limited. Can't investigate clearly. That's why he provoked us. Make things bigger. Forcing us to use the power of the state to investigate. Help him find an enemy you can't find yourself. Think of this. Tang Cheng suddenly stood up. Then a smug smile appeared on the ghost's face. If that's the case, then the initiative is in my hands. At the same time, Riverside Villa. Lina also received a call from the ghost again. How are the company's preparations? The program is basically finished. As long as the talent is available at any time,